Hello everybody, welcome back to another Kinger Guide. Today we are going over Amrine Expedition, the first of 6 dungeons that New World currently has to offer. This is a dungeon meant to teach beginners new tricks and kind of warm up returning players to the MMO genre. Okay, let's get on over and check out my build. So I suggest taking a build like this into the dungeon to begin with. You have the most important talent right here, which is Sturdy Grip. This is going to reduce the damage you take when blocking. You are going to take a lot of damage, and if you don't have this, your shield will break pretty easily. The other important thing is Final Blow for threat generation, and obviously Intimidating Bash for the threat generation as well. Personally, I like to go Whirling Blade because it gives me AoE threat. For this dungeon, I suggest running in with Sword and Shield as well as Hatchet, both socketed with Amber Gems so you can use their respective taunt abilities. And you want to make sure that you have probably about 75% con to 25% strength. The reason you don't go full con is so that you got to make so that you can still hold aggro. Alright, so we are entering Amrine Expedition, everyone. Right off the bat, we have a choice to make. Do we want to go for speed, or do we want to explore the whole dungeon? If this is your first time here, 100%, I suggest exploring the whole dungeon, feeling it out. Amazon did a really good job, and it feels very nice to play. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to clear these first 2 ads, and then either you're going to go run down the tunnel there and clear the next following 3 ads, or you can do the skip that I'll showcase here in a second and jump down really quickly, skipping those 3 ads. A lot of the trash on here is nothing too much to worry about. Just do your best to try to get aggro on them. If you notice they're ranged, make sure you get a taunt out so they'll throw on you. As we clear through this room, depending on what choice you made, you'll still end up at the same spot. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come into this main room and you're going to jump off here to your right. The reason this is we're actually going for our very first elite chest of the dungeon, and we all know it's all about that loot. So as we clear here, you're going to want to pull this abomination and the couple guys first. After that, we're going to deal with our first mound. This mound here, however, we don't deal with it in the correct way, so I'm going to explain a little bit later in the video how you should handle mounds and apply that to this one as well as every other mound you encounter in this game, I feel like, as a tank. So go on here, grab your elite supply chest. Out front of the next door, you're going to see 4 mobs and a ghost. Once these mobs are eliminated, it will spawn 2 more ghosts, being inane mobs. So plan accordingly to that. Be ready after. Let everybody know that once you kill these ads, a bunch more are going to be coming out. I do my best to always get in the middle and start with an AoE taunt. However, AoE taunts in this game are kind of risky because when you taunt someone, if they already had it in their programming to go attack someone, they're going to finish that attack before they come to you after taunting. And if they don't come back to melee range by the time your taunt is finished, then they will actually just stay on whoever they were on, and your taunt will basically have failed. So you kind of are taking a little bit of a risk taunting. So just keep an eye on that. Make sure you don't miss anyone with the taunt, and they're on your healers. The abomination you saw us kill there was optional. He kites back and forth by the silver vein. You can feel free to pull him or just entirely skip him if you're going for speed. There's a silver vein over here that generally you're going to want to let your DPS take care of any mining or herbalism in dungeons, because otherwise everyone has to wait on you. However, you are the tank. You are the important one. So if you want to mine or herb, I'm not going to tell you what to do. As we enter this big room here, this is one of the first kind of cool rooms. There's a waterfall in it. There's hidden chests. There's interesting switches that you don't really know what to do with yet. All you're going to do, though, really is clear through these mobs. We're going to tank this main named mob off to the side. Both of these ghost named mobs, honestly, aren't very difficult. Just make sure you're getting shields up for the right moments and not letting them get on your healers. Things get a lot more difficult with the ghosts if they're not actually being tanked by you, so just make sure they're your primary focus. After you clear the named mob, you're going to want to jump down to the waterfall and get the hidden elite chest that is hidden here. There is also 2 river crests, as well as an iron and a silver node. Once again, you're going to want to leave that to your DPS. After you get the elite supply chest, you're going to head back up on top of this platform and kill the 4 mobs. On this platform, you might want to tell your DPS/healer to stay down just while you get them grouped. It might just be a bit difficult to get them grouped if everybody's up there hitting them already. So get them all grouped up, then have everybody come up. And by that time, you should have enough aggro and threat. The next mob you guys face here is the first Ravager of the dungeon. You're going to kill 5 Ravagers, each one dropping a bone for Barkimedes. That I will point out as we go. I'm going to pause here and explain something to you. This is where I'm going to introduce to you guys the stamina bar. The yellow bar under his health bar is his stamina bar. When that gets depleted, he will be in a state where he's unable to attack. That's basically going to be what's considered your burn phase on any guy with a stamina bar. The way to deplete that faster is to have your melee and everyone who can use heavy attacks. That will drain the bar quick, and they will be in a staggered state. You'll see here that obviously we're a bit higher level DPS, so we kill him before that happens. But moving forward, that's what you have to know. These Ravagers will also spit out the AoE that you see on the ground here. Make sure you're not standing in that, as well as make sure you're not letting your stamina deplete on the mobs, as they hit very hard and can easily deplete your stamina. Okay, so here we have the first mound in the game. I'm going to show you what I personally believe is the proper way to deal with them. What I would do is I go in here, I taunt off every mob off the mound, and I pull them off to the side. That way our DPS have free range just to hit the mound and destroy it. The reason we focus the mound here is they will constantly farm or spawn more guys. The reason we focus the mound here is because they will constantly spawn more guys. So before it starts getting out of control, we take that out, and then we eliminate all the other mobs that are there. The named mob next to the mound is not too big a deal. Just make sure you tank him away from the group. You'll see we have another mound here to deal with, which you're going to deal with in the exact same way as the previous one. You're going to see me taunt the ads off. They'll all run over to me, and our DPS will focus the mound down. Once the mound is down, you'll then go finish off any mobs that had previously spawned. As we enter this next room, you'll see an orb in the middle. I want to point this out. Make sure you don't activate the orb if you're a lower level group until you've cleared every platform. Once you activate the orb, it will actually spawn a few ghosts, and if you spawn them before you clear the other mobs, you'll have to deal with double the mobs. After you have the whole platform cleared, this is when you'll go back and activate the orb. This will spawn 2 ghosts. One of them is not a big deal, the other one is a named mob. After killing the named mob, before you proceed to the next room, make sure that you guys grab the chest behind the pillar here. Okay, as we return back to the room with the switches, you're going to want to make sure as the tank, you jump down to the switch on the right. You'll have one of your DPS stand in the middle switch, and your healer plus the other 2 DPS on the left switch. As soon as the monsters here spawn, if you're a lower level group, you don't have to aggro the big guy who spawns on the tank side. You can immediately join your group and clear him after. You'll see, obviously, because we're an over leveled group, I opt not to do that. I get a little bit of aggro on him, and then I run over to join the group. Once we clear the Ravager here, make sure you grab the bag on the ground. This will be your second bone for Barkimedes. After that, you can proceed up and go across the bridge. If you're a lower level group, you can pull these mobs one by one with a ranged weapon. Again, we aren't a lower level group, so we choose to just pull them all at once. Anytime you're fighting a Ravager, make sure you're not forgetting to deplete his stamina and putting him into that staggered state. That way you get free damage and your healer won't have to heal through too much. You'll see under this mob's name it says explosive. That means after he dies, about a second after, he will explode, doing damage and knocking back anyone near. It does quite a bit of damage, and this is a mechanic you'll see a lot throughout New World. Make sure you get used to, as a tank, using your dodge to time safely dashing through the explosive. Before you enter this next room, make sure you grab the candle from the foreman's toolbox. This is going to be used in the next room. If you're running with a group of new people, I suggest right now typing in chat, No one put candle in. Let me do it. The reason you say that is because often people will put the candle in too early, and you'll have a mob, named mob slash mini boss on you while you clear ads. So take out these 1-pack, take out the Abomination, take out the other Ravager to get your 4th Barkimedes bone, clear the Ghost, and clear the 2 guys by the treasure chest. You're gonna get your next elite supply chest here, and now that everyone is cleared, it is safe to put the candle in. After the candle is activated, the foreman will spawn. This boss has 2 mechanics that you have to look out for. The first mechanic being the detain circle. As long as you remain in this circle, there is no mechanic to deal with. If any one of your members passes through the circle, it will stun anyone inside. You need to make sure that you do not pass this line. The other mechanic is he will project purple lines, and then following that, a ghost will travel in that line. You have to make sure that you are dodging this mechanic as much as you can. Sometimes it bugs out too, where you either don't see the lines or the lines are incorrect. You can always use a dodge roll iframe to dodge a lot of mechanics in New World. Make sure you guys kill the 5th Ravager here. Obviously you can't skip him, but just make sure that when you kill him, you loot the 5th and final bone for Barkimedes. The name mob in the next room, nothing special. Just make sure you're tanking him and he's not in your healers. So as we enter the final boss room here, there's going to be 2 mobs to pull on the left, 1 on the right. These mobs are very weak. Don't worry too much about them. Just gather them up, kill them down, and get ready for the final boss fight. There's 2 mechanics you have to worry about with this boss. The first mechanic is he will throw an AoE on the ground. Make sure you're looking out for that. Everybody needs to get out of that. The damage does add up. It is quite a bit. The other mechanic is every once in a while when the ads are dead, he will spawn new ads. Make sure that you are taunting these ads every time they spawn. These ads are the reason that I suggest using a hatchet as your secondary. You'll see here for most of the fight, you want to use your primary sword and shield to be able to block. However, when the ads spawn, there's certain times where Defiant Stance will still be on cooldown. Those are the moments where you'll see you pull out the hatchet, you hit Berserk, and you switch back to the sword and shield. You do negate the benefits from Berserk, but the only reason you're using it is to get the ads grouped up on you. If the ads go on your healers or your DPS and people start dropping, that's when you'll have issues with this dungeon. If you just keep everyone alive and all the aggro on you, you should easily have enough DPS to take out this boss. This boss does have a lot of health, especially if you're a little bit low leveled, so just be patient, keep yourself up, have your healers use mana pots and things like that if they need to. And the one rule is never let him stagger you. Always block as much as you can, but never let him stagger. After you complete the boss here, make sure you guys come over and loot the heart gem before you leave. I've seen a lot of people leave without getting the quest item and having to complete the dungeon again. That is for the main storyline quest. Also grab the stockpile here before teleporting out of the dungeon. Alright everybody, that was my video on the Amrine expedition. I hope it makes you and your group's first time running through a little bit easier. Do the usual YouTube things like, comment, subscribe. Really helps me out. I'm a newer YouTuber trying to grow. As well as New World's new, so I don't pretend to be a genius or know everything. If you have any comments or feedback or anything I did wrong or could improve, feel free to let me know in the comments. Much love, take care, and have a good day.